Our work isn't easy.
The American Family Association.
On this fundamental issue, I will not yield, and Planned Parenthood will not yield.
All the odds against us. Faithfulness is the word.
My religion compels me, and I love it for it, to be against discrimination of any kind in our country.
Our rights come from nature and God, not from government.
All God asks of you is faithfulness, faithfulness, faithfulness.
Fighting for the family, standing for the church, laboring to return to a moral and biblically based culture.
This is the American Family Association at AFA Today.
And we welcome you to the metro of the belly of the news beast. It's Kevin McCullough from the New York City area today, coming to you from the Baldwin McCullough studios from our weekend broadcast, what I do with the actor Stephen Baldwin. Because I could not get to Lower Manhattan today, very simply, I needed to attend a graduation ceremony for my 4-year-old. And that's going to be a discussion all in and of itself, because I'm tired of graduations. Okay, he goes to a preschool program that is designed for kids with some, he's on the spectrum of some autism challenges, and so we had him in the program, which is very, very good, and he's done very well, and I am very proud of him. I don't know that we need to have graduation ceremonies to celebrate it. My pastor was talking in his sermon yesterday, and he was talking. We honored our graduates in our worship services yesterday of all different levels: 5th grade going into junior high, 8th grade going into high school, college going into life, and in high school going into college. I should have connected all those dots. And he was saying, he was reflecting back on the days when his one of his daughters went through 8th grade graduation and insisted that they have this big party. And now that she's a sophomore in college, she looks back and goes, "Oh, those 8th grade graduations, they're not that big of a deal." I didn't have anything until I finished high school, and that was a graduation, and that was worth celebrating because I'd worked really hard for those 13 years, 12 grades plus kindergarten to get there. And that was worth. I don't know that maybe I'm just goofy. Maybe I'm just thinking that the youngest generation is too entitled. Maybe I'm completely wrong. You can correct me on that. 888-589-8840. I just don't see the point in all of that. So anyway, glad you're with us. Hey, we've got a lot of news to talk about today, and I want to start with some breaking news. There is good news coming from Sudan. Miriam Ibrahim has been released. This is coming across Fox. Fox News has been reporting it the last little bit. Evidently, whatever efforts were put forward on her behalf have been successful, and they have worked. And the mother, who was found guilty in an Islamic court of abandoning or leaving Islam, which she had never practiced her entire life. She's been set free. She had actually been convicted of apostasy, and then she was going to be stoned to death, and then she was found guilty of adultery because she married a Christian man, and had what was her third child from him while she was incarcerated, and they had said, well, you could have the child, you can wean it, and then we're going to kill you. Evidently, somebody talked some sense into somebody in the court somewhere, because that is no longer going to happen, and we're grateful for that being the case. Anyway, Kevin McCullough saying thank you for being here, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840, but there are some other things that I want to make sure that we at least bring you up to speed on. Did you know that the whole the global warming facade, the fake issue that is, just took a massive hit over the weekend. The USA, there's this organization that has worked on these temperatures and so forth for all this time. Evidently, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and I'm guessing that's a federally, at least partially funded organization, because they study the historical climate issues. So the U.S. Historical Climatology Network, the USHCN, of National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, they've been doing something that's just crooked, that's just criminal. And they made Al Gore a big fat billionaire off of this. But here's what they did. They took computer data that showed the actual temperatures, and they replaced the actual temperatures of what the temperatures actually were with metadata that their computer models had come up with, and they inserted them instead of the actual temperatures that the Earth actually had. Now, this is all coming out, of course, in a British newspaper, because evidently the sources here in the United States are a little too, well guarded to be able to let it get out. But Christopher Booker in the London Telegraph today is reporting that in the U.S., the people that got carried away with the whole climate change, global warming garbage, they've been doing some of this on the data used by the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, and it turns out that the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration's subdivision, U.S. Historical Climatology Network, the USHCN, which again I think is partially underwritten by the federal government, has been tampering with data. What does it all mean? Here's the bottom line, friend. And this, you just, the next time someone like the president comes up and says, "Oh well, global warming is terrible. We got to do something about this." You just uncork this one on him. Yeah, well, Mr. Prez, it would be you'd have a more convincing case if we hadn't been cooling since 1930. See, even with the manipulated data that they've been using, we've been in a cooling pattern for about 15 years, according to the manipulated data. And what do I mean by manipulated? These crooks took the actual temperatures of the actual days that the climates actually were on planet Earth, and they took them out and they put in temperatures from computer models. Forecasting models, computer somethings. And they put them in their place, and then they made the argument, oh, look at how terrible the last 2 decades we've been warming at the most obscene rates. I can't believe what a horrible thing. And the president running around telling college graduates, let me be clear, it is not a foreign idea here that the theory behind global warming did you see his speech about Iraq this last weekend? Brent, this was hilarious. I don't know if anybody there saw it. A montage of just the ahs that he said in the speech. It lasts for nearly 4 minutes, and it's just at a time. He was talking to the press room without the teleprompter. So well, okay. So now when he's talking to the college graduates about to go out into the world, and he's telling them, let me be clear, you should not ever let anyone dismay your belief that you have been indoctrinated with here in the college campus experience about global warming, because it is settled science. The only thing that's settled about global warming is that the people that are still saying it matters are a bunch of flaming liars, because the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration has now revealed that the U.S. Historical Climatology Network, the USHCN, has been adjusting its record by replacing real temperatures with data fabricated by computer models. See, when you add this data to all of the revelations that were made in England about 3 years ago, where all the scientists came out and said, well, we believe that the Earth is the globe is warming, and here's all the proof to it. And they had falsified some of their information. And then any of the scientists that had even shown a slight bit of disagreement, they didn't allow to contribute to the body of work. See, when you have that kind of stuff going on, that's called fraud. And when you have, and I don't know why the United States is somehow given a pass on calling things what they are, but when you have wholesale, like going in and taking out the actual, okay, so on March 28th in 1947, it was actually 68 degrees, but the U.S. Historical Climatology Network made it 89 degrees. And they did that for years because we've been in a cooling cycle since 1930. Since 1930, we've been in a cooling cycle. Friends, write this down. Put this in your framework of stuff to use when these morons come talking about how the world is going to fry itself into oblivion. When the silly nothing heads that come out and say this stuff go down that path, arm yourself with information. If you want a copy of this story, I've got it at thebingethinker.com. I've got it at my website. You can go. It's part of today's News That Makes You Think feature. But arm yourself with information. Because when these silly hearts come around like 3-year-olds, going, wow, the world is going to blow up if we don't do something about it now, like take away all of the SUVs from the people named McCullough who live in the New York metro area. When they come up with those, like, see, they never, and you noticed that the president, he gave that speech a couple of weekends ago to the graduates of the UC California, whatever it was, campus, and then he went and he got on his big fat 747 and flew it all of 27 minutes from L.A. to Palm Springs just so that he could go hit a white ball, a little white ball on some grass, but burned up, I don't know, some tons of carbon fuel to do it. See, that's the weird thing about this. It's always how they want to change your life. They don't ever want to change what they want to do. That's disturbing. Real quickly, let me grab this call before we go to break. Line 3 is Norma. I don't know where Norma's calling from, but Norma, welcome. You're on with Kevin McCullough. What's your thought here?
Hi, Kevin. I just wanted to let you know that I absolutely share your sentiments about that graduation thing, starting kids so young. And it's almost as if, and we're responsible for this, but it's almost as if they have nothing to look forward to as they get older because we give them so much so early.
They are so special. By the time they have done anything special, they don't even know why it's special.
Absolutely.
It's
You're
the world of
absolutely
special.
right.
We're all special. Norma, you're special. I'm special. And if everyone is special, then you know what that means.
Absolutely.
Nobody is. It means nobody is.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately, in all of our uniqueness, and yes, we know that we're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Right.
But, you know.
But you're special, Norma. You're not just fearfully. That's just that Bible thumper talk again. You're special. And you need to think about how special you are all day long because your specialness is so special that it should just make you beam with specialness to everyone else. That you should be telling people that come across your path, did you know how special I really am?
Right, right. And you haven't done anything yet. But yeah, exactly. I absolutely share that sentiment with you.
All right, Norma. Good. You're a good sport. Thank you for the call.
Okay.
All right. 888-589-8840. Yeah, my little and I'm proud of him. Look, he's got challenges. He's on the spectrum. There's some stuff that he needed to get worked out this year, and he did a good job of that. But they had a whole, thing to talk about this 1 year of achievement. Now, I'm all for celebrating. But I don't want to just keep going to graduations after graduations every year. Like let's get some stuff done and then acknowledge it at that point. Anyway, Kevin McCullough, glad you're with us. We've touched on the global warming headline for the day. There's international news we have yet to get to and some other stuff. So I will take your calls throughout the hour on all things related to what we're discussing. 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Kevin McCullough, glad to be with you, AFA Today on AFR Talk.